Good morning. It's March 10th, 2023. Justin Johnston, commercial real estate broker. This is the podcast or the format that I sometimes just go off on market conditions and current events that are happening. And so there's three I want to hit this morning. First one, in my life, I never thought I would hear lots of discussion about a declining birth rate that was actually going to impact economics all around the world. Once I guess it starts, it actually kind of is difficult to turn it around. And we've seen some booms, of which there seems to be some conflicts that, after the war, there was a worldwide boom, at not just baby boomers here in the United States. It's something that actually happened around the world, and there's different reasons for that. Different countries that it seems to be very interesting. There's different reasons that cause that boom, and there's differing reasons why there's a decline. Each country has something a little bit different, a region, but at the end of the day, we are having a declining birth rate. It's a weird topic to talk about because all I've heard my entire life is that we have too many people on the planet. As I think in my lifetime, it's grown by a couple billion people. And it is the fuel for an economy. But I also bring it up because there is a secondary issue that we're seeing and that's being brought up. I'm coming off of Jordan Peterson and a gentleman that he had. I don't remember who was on his show, but it was released, I think, today as well. Maybe it would have been late last night. I think it is today, though, March 10th, 2023. Where he was discussing the issue of this and the sadness that is coming, right? So there is a social thing. It's not just economics. There is a social thing that is transpiring, that people that are in, they're going to school, they're getting their education, they're holding off getting married until they're into their careers, and then they're saying, maybe I'll start, but they're in their careers, they're not wanting to marry a deadbeat guy or vice versa, and so they're putting off having their children, though they want to have children. The statistics show that there's only 5% of women do not want to have children, and I think that makes sense. But the declining birth rate of childless women in that realm, and it goes up through, they've defined some type of a birthing range, age that I think it's under 40, maybe it's 45, that there is 30% of women that are childless. So you have 5% saying, I really don't want to have kids. Then you got 30% that are saying, I want to have kids. I'm not in a position to have kids, or I'm not having kids, or there's some other issues that are there. So it's an issue. I think we're just going to hear a lot about it. I'm bringing it up as a discussion point because I'm hearing a lot about it. I've heard a lot about it for the last couple months. Number two, the Oscars, the Academy. What a joke, as far as I'm concerned. I think they've got, in my lifetime, you had 20 years ago, there wasn't social media. We didn't know what all of the stars and actors and things like that, they were kind of bigger than life. Now with social media, we know that they're all drug addicts and alcoholics, and the ones that aren't have recovered, and they're living their life and they're doing the thing. And we've accepted that. It's not that they were just bigger than life before. And so I've had my issues with that in the past. I think a lot of people have. We've got an epidemic of that throughout the world, not just America, but the Oscars. It's a live event with commercials. People go out of their way to have streaming media to not have commercials. They don't want to sit there for 3.5 hours. We don't have time to do that anymore, right? The viewership's down, and I bring that up just because, I'm coming out to you on YouTube right now and other avenues that are out there because these are topics that are important to me. These are things that I tune into, the people and the shows that I want. I am less inclined to watch movies personally myself. I love a really good series. I love Game of Thrones. I loved what was it, Longacre. I like well, there's been several. Yellowstone. 1923, 1983. I was kind of caught up in that. My wife loves all those too. So I love a series and how they've brought some amazing actors on, the ones that were on the big screen before. And I just point that out because I think the future of these television events and the release at the box office is only going to decline more so, and the other Amazons, Apple, HBO, they're going to keep coming up with better and better content. Netflix has had their original series. I just don't know how that plays into the Academy and how people are enamored with. I think that individuals in Hollywood are what is a lot of the turnoff. They're just not in touch with the reality. They're not standing up for beneficial things in the community that they used to try to do, and it's just all talk and hype. Very interesting there because this is obviously a format that's changing in every avenue. On the economic front, I saw some news on it yesterday. I saw changing events this morning with Silicon Valley Bank, SVB, the parent company. They made bad investments. They made investments in some bonds that were tied into lower interest rates. Now the interest rates are rising. I'm sure it's much more complicated than that, but I've never seemed to be amazed. I know I will never. I just don't trust the banking industry. Trust being not the banking industry or finance. We need that. That's what keeps our economy going. But the ineptitude and the what appears to be horrible investments and just an awareness of the banking community. Anytime anything ever shifts in the market, every business is required to shift with it. If you don't shift, you're gonna. If you try to keep the same business model, you're gonna go down. The ones that succeed the most are the ones that saw events that were going to happen, or they planned for the events of interest rates that were going to go higher, other issues of war, famine, supply chain. I mean, everybody's been caught off on that. We're all trying to reevaluate and try to make it better. But at the end of the day, where I'm going with this is that, there's a financial breakdown, right? Silicon Valley Bank, it's because of they're saying some of these hedge funds, the venture capital behind some of these groups that are, they didn't make investments. Now there's a run on the bank. They actually stopped trading as of this morning. I think maybe it was at the end of yesterday when this stuff was announced. I hate hearing it. This is the one thing that I do get a little bit nervous about because now they're talking about the impact that it's going to have on the other regional banks in the West, California, Bank of America. I mean, just go down the list. I saw J.P. Morgan. They're concerned there. They dropped the one that's on the West Coast that I didn't see actually any reference to, and I'm just going off the cuff now by saying this, but it was Wells Fargo. That's my main banking partner that I use, and they just seem to manage better. Maybe they just know how to stick it to us on the fees better, and they manage that. But they're seem to be in a better position. And I'm tired of billing these companies out. I'm tired of the banking industry that just flies by the seat. They over lend during these expansion periods, and it's not like, oh, okay, well, there's this and now there's a contraction. We put our money in these banks. They leverage that. They make investments. They make bad decisions every single time. It's like, how many years can you go? 10, 15? Oh, you guys missed it. Again on this stuff. It just blows my mind. I can't get my arms around it. But obviously, this is going to have some ripple effect in some other industries. But we're seeing it out there because the tech sector is. I think there's some amazing things coming out. Not just with artificial intelligence, but there seems to be some breakthroughs. But at the end of the day, when you step back, it's just refining a lot of the breakthroughs that have already been made. So I'm not sure where all this is going. I would love to see you geniuses in Silicon Valley to come up with artificial intelligence that would actually just eliminate the banking people, come up with models and things like that would actually help them invest better and to plan better and take it away from individuals that don't know what the hell they're doing, obviously, that have a huge impact on our economy when they don't know what they're doing, right? I mean, seems like if the banking industry makes a mistake, it's like a double whammy, right? It's not like they made the mistake, well, now it affects all the other industries out in this region, silicon tech industry. So interesting things. Of course, I always want to try to, maybe I should start out by saying this each time. I can't control, you cannot control the Federal Reserve. We can't control how the banks are going to make these investments unless you're in the banking industry and you can, but we can control what we're doing every day and the way that we're strategizing. And I think the way to do that is to come out with these issues. Please respond. Please get back to me if you have any ideas or things that you think we could be talking about or that you think we're missing by a mile, if you think that we're saying things the wrong way. But at the end of the day, that's what it is. I want to know what I can do and what maybe I can share that we can all make the adjustments that we need to make. Everybody I know is willing to make changes and do things like that if they think it can help the overall economy. Sometimes we're flying in the dark without instruments, and I feel like that's, without talking about it, that's exactly where we're at in the dark. If we can talk about it, we can then also have maybe some instruments that we're creating for each other, talking about that all the time. I hate talking about the politics. I hate talking about how it affects our daily business that we're doing. That's really what I care about. We're in the greatest country in the world for opportunities, and the American dream's still alive and well, and I want that to be there for my grandkids. And I want to have it in my life right now as well. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll check with you tomorrow. Actually, I won't be checking tomorrow because that's the 11th, but we'll see you on Monday. Thank you. Bye-bye.